So I asked a bunch of people. Well, like I put a post up on my Facebook profile, asking for questions about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. As I'm currently trying to raise money and awareness, streaming every day of May to support EDS, and I have it myself. I have hypermobile EDS. But yeah, I'm recording this segment, so if you guys in chat have any extra questions to come up with, let me know. Everyone on the recording will be able to see over here if you guys do ask questions. Alright, I'm going to shuffle some things. I'm very unorganized. I have not done this before. Not used to Q&As. Anyway, so our first question is a two-part question, and it was from Vegeta, also known as Fire, I think I pronounced that right, gaming. They asked, what is my first accident because of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and my funniest. So I don't know what to consider as my first accident because of EDS, but the one that sticks out to me the most is last winter, which is one reason I'm terrified of this winter. I was at work, and I don't know if people know what growing pains feel like. I was just at work, minding my own business, doing one of my 9-hour shifts that I was used to doing. And this was not my first accident. This, kind of. Anyway, I started getting like mild growing pains in my legs, and I was like, it's fine, I'll just go on lunch, like it'll be alright. And I went to lunch, and I sat down, and I had something to eat, and I got back up, and I started my shift again, and the growing pains got worse, and then I got this weird cramping, hollow feeling in my calf, and after a couple hours, I was struggling to just stand, so obviously, I went home, and I rested that night. I can't remember if I streamed or not, I'm not too sure, but the next day, I got up, and my legs, I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk properly, it was like just too much pain, and that lasted for months. Actually, I had to go from working over 30 hours a week to working like 12, if that, and I couldn't even stand for my shifts. I had to sit down behind the counter, and that's how I went from full-time to casual, and they got worse before they got better, and everyone just kept telling me it was probably my nerve pain, it was probably just the EDS, like they weren't doing any tests or anything. It wasn't until I saw a neurologist who I spent an ungodly amount of money to see with my mum, and he tested to make sure that there was no signs of MS, which scared the crap out of me, because I don't want MS, that's terrifying. And he changed my medication. He changed one of my nerve blockers to something new, and that was around about the time that it started warming up. And after a while, like, the medication was actually working, and I was standing for longer periods of time, and instead of not being able to stand for more than an hour, I went to being able to stand for 3 to 4 hours, and so I could increase my hours at work. I was getting better, and over summer I've improved a lot. But as soon as it started getting colder again, I started losing, my legs got more and more painful. So that is, long story short, why I quit my job and went full-time streaming, because I don't need to be able to stand for this. And no one else will hire me, because as soon as they hear about my health issues, they panic and they ditch. Anyway, my funniest is probably, I don't know if it's due to my medication, but I have really fast reflexes, probably from my gaming growing up my whole life. But I have no hand coordination, so a lot of the times if something goes to fall, or I accidentally have like a muscle spasm or something, I'll go to catch something, but instead of grabbing it, I'll just smack it, which 9 out of 10 times makes the situation so much worse. So yeah, that was the 2 questions from Fire Gaming. Thank you so much for asking. I really appreciate it. Our next 2 questions were from Nikki. Nikki has become a good friend over the last few days, or last week or so. Haven't met Nikki IRL yet, but I wished you. What should people without Ehlers-Danlos syndrome be grateful for? The pain would be one thing. You should be grateful that you're not in pain every day. I mean, there are obviously other health issues where pain is still a thing. But if you're healthy and you don't have those issues, be grateful you don't have the pain. But in my personal opinion, the medical bills. Be grateful for your limited medical bills. I'm spending at least $700 every 2 months in specialist appointments and travel and accommodation. I'm spending at least $20 just to see my GP. It takes me about a month to see her. I'm paying maybe $60, if not more, on vitamins and supplements because of my deficiencies. Thankfully, currently prescriptions are free. But yeah, medical bills. No. Nikki's second question is, what was the first sign something was off? The first symptom you had? If I got your question correct, I hope I did, Nikki. When I was about 18, maybe? I think I was about 18, and I was studying at Welltech. I was studying animal care. And I used to have to walk from campus to go get food and just hang out with my friends, things like that. And after a little bit of walking, I noticed my knee started kind of doing this as I was walking. And I now know that is partially dislocating. So every time I walked, my knee was going half in, half out of the socket. Kind of like that motion is exactly how it felt. And when that first started happening, I was like, okay, this is weird. Talked to my doctor. I had numerous physio appointments, taping my knees, everything. Nothing was helping. Ironically, that's one issue I don't have now. But that was the first sign that something was not right. And after that started, it took me about 2 years to get a diagnosis of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which explained everything. It explained my numerous bruises as a kid, the reason I am abnormally flexible in multiple joints. It explained why I was always rolling my ankle, just like things that I thought was normal, you know. I realized they were normal. So my next question, what are the misconceptions of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome? It's not rare. It's just uncommonly diagnosed. It's underdiagnosed. Hang on, let me just look this up quick, because I know there's other things I'm not thinking about. I can't type. Misconceptions. Alright, this is on the official Ehlers-Danlos Society page. The Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is not just Ehlers-Danlos syndromes are just stretchy skin. No, I don't have stretchy skin. I don't got that. Stretchy skin is more commonly associated. Well, from my knowledge, the classical and classical-like types, because there are 13 separate types of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's not just stretchy skin, but you do see the videos of people being able to pull their face skin like, oh, right here, that's EDS. EDS and HSD, which is hypermobility syndrome disorder, is just being a bit bendy. No! No! It is so much more than that. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is a genetic connective tissue disorder due to I hope I get this right, a fault in the collagen gene. Now, collagen makes up all your connective tissue, right? So, it's faulty, which means You never know what issues are going to arise. It could be fragile skin. Like, I have very soft skin. My scars don't necessarily heal properly. My skin's very soft as well. Dislocations. There are certain types of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, like the vascular type, which shortens your life expectancy. That's due to issues with your veins and your arteries and things like that. So EDS is, if you're just a bit bendy, if you're extra flexible, it doesn't mean you have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It just means that you might have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So I hope that covers that up. And I'll do one more. Apparently a myth is that hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is diagnosed by genetic testing. So, all types of EDS can be diagnosed with genetic testing except the hypermobility type, which is, ironically, the most common type of EDS. That is the one type they have not found a genetic marker for yet. Yeah, so that's basically it. So I hope that was enough answers to that. What are some misconceptions of EDS? And my last question I have, and this chat has some extra questions for me, is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome painful all the time, or are there some days it is better? Some people with EDS have no pain. There's a severity scale for EDS. There's, you don't even know you have it, and there's, your life is at risk. Somewhere in the middle is where your quality of life is impacted. I personally, I get, most of my issues are pain. I have chronic neuralgia, which is bolts of nerve pain through my arms, burning pain, numbness, tingling, pins and needles. I get muscle cramps all the time. My joints get really achy and sore, like arthritic pain. So for me, I do have good and bad days. Some days, I sit on my computer and I refuse to move. Like sometimes when I'm streaming, I'm in more pain than you'd think, but because I'm able to just sit here and distract myself, it's bearable. Other days, I want to go to the gym and I want to fast walk on a treadmill. Like there's a lot of variance in my pain levels. But like I said, some people with EDS don't have any pain, and some have crippling pain. Like I feel like if I wasn't on nerve pain medication, my nerve blockers, I would be scared of how much pain I might experience. But you don't get used to pain, but you get used to living with pain. So, you know. Anyway, those are some of the questions that I was asked on Facebook about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Does anybody in chat have any questions to add? I will just check last minute that no one has any extra questions. I don't think we do have any extra questions. Does anyone in chat have extra questions? I think that was all of them. So thank you for asking me the questions. I really appreciate it. If you guys found this helpful, please let me know. I am more than happy to do more Q&As in the future. I will start writing out any questions I get asked, and then maybe in a week or two, you can see my cat. In a week or two, I'll do another one of these streams and another one of these recordings. So thank you everybody for watching. Mwah.